Huh? I will.
I think I probably do the same thing every year. Don't really have anything, so an opening statement wise, and then I'll talk for 27 minutes. Probably do that again this year, but a little bit late. Just we got a lot of guys in the room trying to get better, and that's what's exciting for me as a coach. I kind of look at these 6 guys, and we got 6 guys that have been to the national tournament, a couple All-Americans back. It's a real good thing. The great thing with that is it's not what's going on and where the room's going and the effort and energy and the focus and the belief and all those things are happening. It's just not these 6 guys. It's really a team. It's a whole team that's moving forward, and really excited about the freshmen. And even though it was a light recruiting class, I like what these guys are doing. I really like what they're doing. Just the energy that they're showing, the effort, the focus, and the things that we're talking about. You're starting to see those relate in the room. We'll see if they happen in competition, but as far as what we're asking in the room, guys are doing. And you kind of get to certain points, and this is my 8th year. We should be at this point as a team. We should be at having the best team that I've had. I mean, we should be at that point. I'm not going to take the credit for it. We got a lot of great staff, but these guys, it's a team right now. It's a team, and they're taking it over. You got guys like Max Thompson, who's taking over the team, making it his. Got guys like Drew Foster, who last year no one was asking questions about him, and now he's going to the All-Star duel. So you got guys that are making that kind of jump. And now, who's going to be the next guy that's going to do that? I guess that's kind of the question. Who's going to be the next guy to make that jump? And we got a whole group of them. We got a whole lineup of them that are ready to do it and believe that they can do it. And I kind of go into the belief a little bit. And I think there's a difference right now. Some of our guys, I think last year weren't sure. You kind of seen it as at the start of the season, they weren't sure how good they were, if they could be one of the guys. Now they know. Now they know they're one of the guys, and that's a huge difference. Just having that kind of belief when you step on the mat. And not that it's been an easy thing. It's been a lot of work to get to that point, but we got a whole group of guys who they're one of the best guys in the country. Now it's just time to go show them. And now they got to show it through their competition. But they've been doing it in the room. I really like where we're at as a team. I like the growth that has happened this spring and summer. I like how the guys are taking it over and making it theirs. And it's not a coach having to try to whip them to do it. We took the reins off a lot. And guys are getting better. So I think that's as you learn as a coach, you start figuring things out. You start figuring out your guys, and we got a lot of motivated young guys. Our team is young, but what I've told them, and I told them from the start, is you don't have to wait to win to have an impact. You don't want to wait till next year, because next year's not guaranteed to anybody. Next day is not guaranteed to anybody. And that's how we're trying to train. That's how we're trying to live. We're trying to see how much better we can get throughout the bulk of the season. And you saw some of our guys do it last year. Now we're going to see how much these guys can grow and how much better they can get throughout a year. Obviously exciting to move to the Big 12. A lot of people ask that question, what's the difference? I mean, it's still wrestling. We go to a Big 12 tournament to qualify. That's really it. Looking forward to having an in-state rival. I think that's exciting. It's exciting for me. It's exciting for our team. It's exciting for the state. It's exciting that we get to go down to Oklahoma State this year. And just, I think from a regular fan, you're part of the Big 12 now, so it's a big deal. I don't look at it really any different. I mean, we still prepare the same. It just, now we got Oklahoma State and Oklahoma and West Virginia and Iowa State and all those other teams in our conference, which is good for us because we want to be battle tested and ready when we head to the national tournament, which I know we will be. I can kind of go up and down the lineup, but I'm more of a question guy. I like questions. The schedule is going to be challenging for us. You look at it. We go to 2 of the top tournaments. We're going to Las Vegas and we're going to Scuffle. I think there's nothing that can really duplicate a national tournament other than something like that. I mean, nothing duplicates a national tournament, but going to two-day events, we'll get to see almost every team in the country in those 2 events. Penn State, the best team in the country is going to be at the Scuffle. So if we want to have an opportunity to compete with a team like that, that's where we need to go. And I like how the tournament's run. So we'll be to those 2 events. We got some really good duels mixed in throughout, and we kind of had to throw together what we could this year, just moving conferences, I think next year we'll have more of a set schedule from the Big 12, and we look forward to that, being able to have that. But we've made do with the schedule that we could, and our guys are going to be challenged. They're going to be tested and ready when the national tournament comes around. That's really all we wanted to be able to have happen, and we're able to do that with this schedule. 4 home duels. Obviously, I'd like to have a few more than that because we love this environment. We love the West Gym in what it creates, and just hostile, hot, loud, and rowdy, kind of what the tagline to me for this gym and just the history that it has. Anytime that we can get in here, we look forward to it. We have four good duels though, with NDSU. North Carolina's got a good young team. I know they're going to start some of those true freshmen. Iowa State and Missouri, who's going to be another top 10 team. So I know I'm going home schedule because to me, any fan that doesn't have season tickets, you're going to want to get season tickets for this team because it's going to be a fun team to watch. Up and down the lineup. If you go from a guy like Schwab to a guy like Wagner or Yates or Elber, Max, Payton, you start putting those kind of guys back to back to back, and then that's how you get momentum. That's kind of how the train gets rolling. Momentum as a team. Now it's just individually, each guy being able to create some of that their momentum too, and it can be a scary team, when you get to March. But I'll ask you fire away questions.
What went into scheduling both the Vegas and Southern Scuffle? Would you do you really want to have 2-day tournaments in there before nationals? Or?
I think, like I said, to be able to duplicate some of the emotions, and that's what we saw with some of our young guys last year, kind of being able to have that time. So you have a match, and then you have to sit and wait, and then does everything start spinning, or are you able to keep control of that? Duel, you have your one match and then you're done. So being able to duplicate that where you have time in between, you're going to wrestle some of the best guys in the country, and just we kind of set up how we set up our training schedule. You got a month here, then you got another big event at the start of February, and then you got another big event in March. So kind of how we set up our training will kind of go with that too. But like I said, we get to see all the best teams in the country. Vegas is going to be a heck of a tournament this year. I mean, it's stacked up and down. Scuffle doesn't have as many because at Oklahoma State, some of those teams aren't going to be there. But you still got Penn State there. You still got Lehigh. You still have some of those top schools. And anytime I think where we can get to multi-day event, for me, it's because controlling nerves is really the big thing for some of our guys right now. And there's only one way to do that. You got to put them in that situation. We can talk about it all day long, but until you put them there, I don't think it's the same thing. And that's, for me, all the skills are there for a lot of these guys. All the pieces are in place. Now, being able to keep emotional control, being able to not let some of that energy management or go, that's really the next step in being a great competitor for these guys because they're there.
With that said, with all these 2 days, with Payton's help, how do you have to manage him a little more? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go, I guess, tournament by tournament. I mean, we're not going to put guy in there, and we can always wrestle a couple matches and pull a guy out of the tournament too. I mean, obviously you want guys to finish things, but we're going to be smart with our guys throughout the year too. I think that's, it can be a lot of wear and tear, but we got pretty good chunks of time in between those. Where we'll be able to have some time where we can get recovered, or hey, we got some depth now where we can put another guy in there too. You know what I mean? So you got this guy in front, and now you got another guy that's he's more than capable to step in. So we'll give some other guys some opportunities to be able to get, because you can't duplicate being out in front of other fans. You can't duplicate going to a conference tournament. You can't duplicate going to a national tournament. Like there's nothing that we talk about all day. But actually being there, so a guy like Schwab, even though he had to move up a weight last year, going to the national tournament, he's so much better off. He's so much farther ahead than he would have been without that. Even Foster, you saw it with him last year. I think him being able to be in the lineup the year before, being able to go to the conference tournament, being able to go through some of those things, it got him so many more steps ahead for the next year. So if we can give those guys those opportunities, that's what we're going to be able to do too.
Doug, you haven't had a ton of guys in All-Star Classic.
Yeah.
What does this do for your program and your thoughts on the matchups that you guys will encounter on Sunday?
I think, it's you try to get the top 2 guys in the country, so, and that's a big deal. Obviously those guys they're one of the top couple guys in the country. So to even be able to recognize and put into that situation shows that we have at least a couple guys that are the best in the country right now, at least being recognized. I think it's good for our guys just to be on a big stage. Like I said, you get to see UNI. I don't know how many other teams got more than one guy. I know there's a couple, but it's like in Penn State. It's a few of the teams that are up there, and we want to get to there. I think it just shows that the program, we're moving forward. And like I said, now we got some guys that they're not kind of hoping that they're there. They know they're there, and that makes all the difference in the world. There's a difference in how a guy steps out on the mat. He knows, and those guys have all been there probably at high school at one time. I mean, you've seen those guys. They know they're going to step out there. They know they're going to win, and that's what we're trying to do at the college level too. And guys can do it. I mean, you got some guys out there that do it. And I think those guys aren't far off from being able to do that. They know. They put the work in. They're just at that level. They know that they can beat anybody. The matchups. Klosik, first time that guy's moving up. Very explosive. Stingy wrestler. Obviously, want to come out and score right away. Max has done a pretty good job at to score right away. I think that he's grown a lot throughout this year. We'll see if he varies up his offense. That's kind of, for me, that's what we're trying to build on. So he's not just hammering the same thing over and over again. He's being able to stay loose in various attacks because he has more than one. That's kind of what I want to see in this match and then beyond. He's wrestling a high-level guy right away. I know he'll probably have a big home crowd, which is all right. We like that. But it's all right if everybody's against him. Just go out and you compete a certain way. It doesn't really matter. Brenda redshirted last year. Very good on top. So there's some things that we're working for. But to me, it's just how much can we improve. So you saw Max at the start of last year and the end of last year. How much he improved. You saw Foster, how much he improved. So that's they just have a different starting point. If we can improve that much, then they can be one of the best guys in the country. So kind of dodging the question as far as matchups, I don't really care. We know who they're wrestling. We have some ideas of their tendencies and those things, but it's still about them doing things that they do well. If Max does things that he does well and he varies his offense up and is flowing, I don't care who it is. Same thing with Foster. Don't care. And that's where those guys are at, and that's where we want to have them and keep them. But looking forward to it. It's obviously a showcase event too. I think the eyes of the country are usually on that event, so it's great for us having two guys, and hopefully next year there's 3 or 4 or 5. I know some teams don't send their guys, but for us right now, getting in front of the big stage and the more bigger matches some of these guys can compete in, the better.
How many guys are you going to take to Harold Nichols, and what are you looking for on Saturday?
29. Got a few guys that are dinged up, and you gotta kind of play by ear, because throwing a guy out for 5 or 6 matches when they're not quite ready doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So if we can give them another week, then we'll give some of these guys another week. But for me, some of the skills that we've been working on bottom, do we keep moving? Do we keep moving through some of these positions? Do we keep wrestling through things? That's really what I want to see, because that's what we've been trying to do. So it's not just one move. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, being able to chain things together. If guys are able to do that, then we're going to score a lot of points. We're going to wrestle through a lot of positions, and we're going to make it really hard for our opponents. That's what I do. And I want to see these young guys, the level of work that they've came in at. And these guys have grown. Those freshman class, they've grown and gotten better since the start of the year, and that's exciting. And that's a testament to them, but also the older guys grabbing them and bringing them along too, and really trying to help them and getting them better. We do a lot where we're giving each other feedback and working with the guy and giving back to each other. So it isn't just like those 10 guys, man. All 35 guys are important to what we're trying to do. And if all 35 guys are moving forward, then you can use a train metaphor. Then that thing's really hard to stop. So I don't know. Just like I said, looking forward to that. Looking forward to see if these guys, if they're going to squeeze up and tighten up in these situations, or they're going to be able to go back to we're going to hustle through things. The effort's going to be there. The emotional control is going to be there. Are those things going to be there? Because it's easy to talk about, hey, this is what we want. This is how we kind of want to see you guys compete. But now once you put them out there, do they actually do it? Because sometimes you go back to old tendencies. And that's okay. That'll happen some. But we're trying to get the space gets a lot wider in some of those mental breaks or whatever it is. And each guy's got a little bit different thing. But I think it's just time to wrestle somebody in a different singlet. We've been beating up on each other for a while.
You've had a couple guys grow in weight. Maybe it's grow in height. I don't know. Talk about 33 and 41.
Albert came and talked to me early in the spring and thought it was the best thing for him. You know, he thought he was, he's concerned himself too much with his weight, and it was impacting. And did we see the best Josh Elber the last 2 years? I don't know. I mean, you saw flashes of it, but when something's in the back of your head and you're concerned with that, then you know what? I'll listen to my guys. I mean, it's not a dictatorship here. I mean, he thought it was the best thing. We got another guy that we feel like really good about. A couple other guys that we feel really good about that we can slot in there, and it's the best thing for him. I mean, he's looked great in the room. He looked great in the room, and you look at him, he's a 41 pounder. Some guys, he's not. I don't think he's going to be big enough to be a 41 pounder. Go look at him. Go grab a hold of him. He's strong enough and big enough to be a 41 pounder, and he feels good. There's not that thing in the back of his head where, not sure if I can hold up. And that was there. And the great thing about Josh Elber is, like, if we would have told him we need you at 33, he would have been at 33. You would have done it, because that's the type of kid he is. But we're also like, we're going to have a conversation with guys, and I want him to know, because if he believes that's the best place for him, we're going to get the best Josh Elber. When we get the best Josh Elber, we're going to have one of the best 141 pounders in the country. And that's where he's at. 33. Guys at 33 pounder. Yates competed pretty well there, and we got a really good transfer too. Jack can hit some incredible offense. Man, I've seen him grow throughout the year. Just the frustration sometimes hits, and just being able to control that. That's kind of, you asked about some things that we want to see. I want him to be able to control that frustration, not let it roll off, not get off the rails. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? A guy pokes you in the eye, a guy runs from you, he tickles you, big deal. You don't let it affect you. And that's where we got to get kind of that bulletproof mentality, where it doesn't really matter. You're just kind of able to let it go. And it's getting better in the room, but we'll really see when we go compete.
How do you see 25 and 33 shaking out?
Right now, I mean, a guy like Schwab got a ton of experience last year, and it's going to help him for this year. You can't, like I said, you can't replicate some of those things. You can't replicate going to the Missouri meet and having that atmosphere and stepping up and beating, a guy that was ranked pretty high in the country. You can't do those things. You can't replicate that, and he was able to do that, stepping in for Dylan a lot. And I think the thing was for him now, the shift is, I'm not kind of stepping in for somebody. I'm the guy. Like, I'm the man. And that's where we kind of see how Schwab kind of struts around a little bit. He's got some chest hair, so he feels good about that. But he kind of walks out there like he's the man, and that's what we want. Like, to me, he's distanced himself, and some of the other 25 pounders might not like hearing that, but it's the truth. But you have something to say about that. Like, I'm not going to side it. They're going to go get to compete this weekend, but I'm going to tell guys what I've seen and how guys have been working and things that I've noticed. So I'm not discounting any of those other 25 pounders. All I'm saying, like, he's made a step, and in his mind he's made a step too. I'm the man. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna scrap. He's gotten better on his feet. He's gotten stronger, which was a big thing for him. He got horsed a little bit last year, so he's gotten stronger. Some of those things that we wanted to see him be able to take notice of and make a strength, he's been able to do. 33. I mean, Wagner's doing a real good job. Yates is a great wrestler. You got to get him healthy in those things. I mean, sometimes things get you behind the 8 ball a little bit. So we're not going to see him for a few weeks. So great opportunity for a few of these other guys to step in and be like, all right, I'm going to be the man. And then I told him, I was like, what a baseball analogy was. It Wally Pipp, is that right? Who was that? And then Musial came in. Lou Gehrig came in. My bad. That's a Yankee. I can't say Yankee, but he came in and then never got another chance. Man, he just played for like 20 straight years. So that's kind of what. If I'm the guy and somebody's out, I'm just never giving that opportunity back. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. The great thing is they're going to get decided. It's not going to be coach. I mean, they're going to have the opportunity to go compete in these events, and we'll see who competes better.
Expect those 2 weights to maybe get decided this weekend, or
at least for the start of the season, yeah. Obviously we go to Cornell the 17th. This weekend certainly going to really probably set our lineup for those things.
Drew wasn't really on the radar at the beginning of last season. Coach, any different this year, maybe compared to a year ago, or?
He's just way more focused. And here's the thing is, and I'll tell you every time, Randy's done a great job with him. He's helped bring him around, and said when we first got him, this dude's going to be really good. He's going to be really good. He's going to be really good. And you know what? Now he is really good. You know, but this is something we talk to our guys about a lot. He hasn't just done better in the wrestling room. It's not like he's just like, I'm going to take care of everything in the wrestling room. He's taking care of his school really, really well. He's living really, really well. You know, I mean, going out and maybe he's a designated driver, he's not worrying about that stuff. Like he's cleaned up every area of his life, and like he's focused on. He wants to be a great teacher. I mean, he wants to impact lives. So he's trying to make sure that the things that he wants to do beyond wrestling, I mean, that he's being a great role model in those things. And it's made a difference in everything. Like, I mean, he's made a jump. You saw the jump he made last year. He's made another jump just because he's more focused and he knows what he wants to do, and he believes he can do it. And that's been a choice he made. It wasn't like me. It wasn't like coach over top of him, like, you got to make this. Like, he's decided to do that, and that's way more powerful. When the guy has himself to choose and coach over top of you, just micromanage you, that doesn't work. He made those choices. He made those choices that I want to try to be a 4.0 this semester. He made that choice. And now he's living in a way that he can do that. And his wrestling is going through the roof because of it. And you got to see a little bit of it last year, but he's taken it to a whole nother level. And to me, that's what this is about. That's what coaching is about. To see guys grow. Help them be able to take some of these things that we're teaching them and be able to use in all the other areas of their life. You know, and I mean, great that he's All-American. He can be a national champion too. And that's the next step. That's the next step for a guy like him. Because he's knocking on that door.
On the mat, was there a point of emphasis of what you wanted to see him improve on from March?
You know, I mean, Top's been trying to increase his top game a little bit because he looks spend a lot of energy, but just in finish, get that finish percentage up a little bit more. He has some incredible attacks. Holy cow! I mean, he is so explosive and strong. But I think just increasing, getting some of those areas better, have been a big thing in Top because he can ride guys too. And now you start taking guys down because he's going to take a guy down a couple times a match. Now if you're able to ride him and you start putting a turn in there, then you start putting 6, 8, 10, 12 points on the board. I like your chances of winning and scoring a heck of a lot of bonus points.
Anyone else?
You gonna redshirt Bryce Start this year?
Yep. It's the plan. He'll go compete in some of these opens. He's actually going to compete this weekend, and we're going to keep him real close to the team. You know, it's not like a red shirt like you're off on your own. You know, there's some areas that we've talked about and that we want to help him grow and see him kind of take some of those steps. And it was something we talked about and he wants to do. And I think it's a great thing because, man, if you grow and get better, he's already one of the best guys. I really believe that. But sometimes there has to be some things in your head that you really figure out for yourself. And you know, we're going to get him some training camps. We're going to get him some freestyle things where he's going to wrestle some of the best guys in the country and the world. He's got some great guys in the room to be able to wrestle with too, you know. But he's going to give as much as he can back to his teammates throughout this year. You know, like I said, we'll compete him some, but you know, that's where you have a chance to do it, and that's where we're going to go with it this year. But we got some guys that are looking to step up. A guy like Isaiah Patton's put a ton of work in these last 2 years, ton of work, and now it's just believing in that work. A guy like Dan Kelly, you know what? I want to go take my opportunity. Like somebody's got to step up, and we got some guys capable of stepping up in a big way. So, you know, I didn't really talk a lot about Lujan. Lujan had shoulder surgery after season. The great thing, I guess, he never complained about it. Like it wasn't like an excuse. Sometimes, you know, I mean, guys, his shoulder was hurt, man, but he never talked about it. He didn't say anything about it. It wasn't anything that in his head hindered him. Even though, you know, you can watch things and you can tell like guys aren't quite as confident as they need to be, but man, he's had a great fall. Got cleared, and he's been hell on wheels since he got cleared. Been really fun to watch. Now for him, just controlling his emotions, because all the skills are in place. Same thing, we just saw Foster talk about him some, but a guy like Jacob Hochschlag, he's grown himself into a 97-pounder. He wasn't a 97-pounder last year, but you know what? He didn't complain about it. Like, we got one of the best guys in the country, so I'm going to go take that 97 spot. And now he made it to the national tournament. Now he's ready to make a big jump. He's done a little more work almost than everybody every single day, and that's added up. And and he's ready to compete. I'm excited to see him. And then you get a guy like Carter, who I think is one of the best heavyweights in the country. I really believe that. I mean, athletic, big, strong, hits great attacks. Now it's just believing. And I kind of go back, you kind of keep hearing me say that word again and again and again. We can't put that belief in them. We have them prepared and ready. They've done the work. Now it's when they step out there really, truly believing, and having faith in yourself. And having some other guys around you that are doing it certainly helps you. And we got a lot of guys doing it. And looking forward to the season. Looking forward to being able to get out there and see these guys compete and see how much they've grown.
Will you decide 197 this weekend then too, or is it whole slog?
I mean, Sheedenham's done a great job. He is explosive and strong, and the biggest, strongest golfer I've ever seen in my life. Because he started last year, he came out for golf, and he wasn't going to wrestle, he was just going to golf, and he came in about October, and like, I really want to wrestle. I'm like, well, had him write some things down because I wanted to know if he wanted to wrestle, and then I saw him last double blaze once, and I'm like, all right, well, let's get you out for wrestling. But big, strong, very athletic, and he's growing too. You know, just like I said, it's like putting a puzzle together. I mean, the pieces are all there. Sometimes when they're not interlinked, you don't compete as well as you're capable of. And that's kind of where some of these guys are at. Like now, the pieces, they're all pieces there. It's just being able to put the pieces so they all go together. And that's the belief piece is really with a lot of these guys. Sometimes you got to beat a good guy too. I mean, I can tell you from my own personal experience, like beating some really good guys, it validates things. Hopefully you don't have to have that happen, but sometimes that's really what it comes down to. You know, beat a guy maybe that I shouldn't beat. These guys are going to do it. I mean, I'm excited to see how our guys compete. Man. They're going to score a lot of points, and you're going to see a lot of variance between our guys. Like, it's not really just kind of one style, man. Like, go score points. I don't care how you do it. Go attack through every position. Go wrestle hard for 7 minutes. Then a lot of good things are going to happen. A lot of people are going to be wearing purple. These stands are going to be packed. And hopefully next year there's a heck of a lot more people at our press day, because we're one of the best teams in the country. So that's where we're working and moving towards. But I said 8th year I should be there. If not, then they don't tell Harris I see you turn it off. I'm just kidding. But I mean, we should have a program at that point. I really do. I believe that with what we have in state, with the kids that we have, and the nutrition that we've had. Now it's just building it and taking it to another level. You know, in these next few years. So.